This is in no way my attempt to justify my comic book obsession. And this story, I really, really like. Artwork, the storytelling. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pull List. My name is Travis. Let's talk about the Vulture. Now I want to try something a little new on the Pull List this week. A little mini-series I'm going to call Know Your Villains. This week, the Vulture. Since this weekend Spider-Man Homecoming is the very first cinematic appearance of the Vulture, let's get you up to speed on the comic version. Introduced in The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2 way back in 1963, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, the Vulture is one of Spider-Man's very first rivals. There have been many characters in the Marvel Universe to take the name Vulture, but Adrian Toomes was the original and the most frequent. Adrian Toomes was born in Staten Island, New York, and he was an electronics engineer and inventor. After finding out that his business partner was embezzling money and subsequently ruining the business, Adrian Toomes used his recently invented flight harness to turn to a life of crime. The flight harness gave him enhanced strength and allowed him to fly with the wings attached to his arms. The recently bitten Peter Parker first found the Vulture when he was in the middle of a robbery and realized that J. Jonah Jameson would pay a lot of money for photos of the villain. So Spider-Man attacked the Vulture to try to stop the bank robbery, but because Peter was so focused on his camera, the Vulture easily defeated him. The Vulture actually knocked out Spider-Man and threw him into a sealed water tank and left him for dead. Though the next time that Spider-Man found the Vulture, he had invented a way to stop the harness from working, which Peter activated while they were in the middle of the air fighting. So the two came tumbling down, crashed into a building, the Vulture was knocked out, and arrested. But after being arrested, he broke out, escaped again and again, as comic book villains do. The Vulture was even a part of the Sinister Six, a gang of 6 of Spider-Man's worst villains that teamed up to try to put an end to him. Toomes is a brilliant electrical engineer and inventor, and aside from his mind, his harness is responsible for all of his superhuman abilities. Enhanced strength, the resistance to injury, and of course, flight. When we first meet Adrian Toomes in the comics, he is a very elderly looking man. But his harness is thought to give him such physical attributes that it could prolong his life. Michael Keaton will be playing Adrian Toomes in this weekend's Spider-Man Homecoming, and as we've talked about the Adrian Toomes from the comics looking like a frail old man with wings, Michael Keaton is making the villain look terrifying. And like I said earlier, this will be the villain's cinematic debut, but this is not the first time that Sony has tried to bring the villain to the big screen. Ben Kingsley was in talks to play Adrian Toomes in Spider-Man 3, but the studio decided to go with Venom instead. And then John Malkovich was in talks to play the Vulture in Spider-Man 4, but that film was cancelled. And then in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there was a quick glimpse of the Vulture wings in the lab, but as we know, that story also went by the wayside. I'm really excited to see Michael Keaton's performance of Adrian Toomes in Spider-Man Homecoming. I've been looking forward to this movie for a very long time. In the comments down below, let me know what you think of Michael Keaton's performance of the Vulture and which supervillains would you possibly want to hear me talk about in the future. Oh, hey, also, I'm gonna be at Indie PopCon this weekend, so if you're in Indiana and you're going to Indie PopCon, maybe you'll see me there. That's it for this episode of The Pull List. My name is Travis. Thank you for fueling my comic book obsession, and you will see me tomorrow.